Behind me is a pretty special car. It's a 2005 Mercedes Benz SLK350 that we took a huge gamble on and did all of the things you should never do when buying a secondhand car. We bought this example off eBay from New York with 7 documented owners and 108,000 miles. In fact, if you look at the Carfax, it's been through 3 auctions, 5 dealerships, and 5 US states. It took over a week to ship to Florida with us biting our nails and counting down the seconds the entire time. So why bother taking such a big risk on a 17-year-old well-used hairdresser's car? Well, this particular example is as good a driver's car as you could get from Mercedes in the last couple decades. Now, you'll rarely hear driver's car and Mercedes-Benz in the same sentence, and if you do, it's usually about the 190Es of old, so what makes this one so special? This one's not only equipped with the AMG handling and appearance package, but the relatively rare 6-speed manual. There's no frills, no bells and whistles, just 3 pedals and a torquey V6. The power plant in question is Mercedes M272 3.5-liter naturally aspirated V6, delivering a predictable 258 pound-feet of torque from 2,400 to 5,000 RPM and 268 horsepower coming up just shy of its red line. It's an engine that's rewarding no matter your driving style. Lower-end, consistent torque makes for easy use in heavy traffic, but the handoff from torque to horsepower at the latter end of the tack will put a grin on your face when ringing it out. But that's not what makes it a driver's car, and it's most likely not why you're watching this video. The 6-speed manual transmission is an absolute marvel, and I wish more enthusiasts would get behind the wheel to experience it for themselves. Throws are short and precise, even with this one's aging bushings. The clutch is on the heavy side, but grabs exactly where you'd expect. The ratios are well matched to the engine's power band and makes it easy to paint some stripes down a freshly paved road. Together, this powertrain rockets the SLK350 to 60 in 5.4 seconds, just half a second slower than its AMG V8-powered big brother, and onto an identical 155 mph electronically limited top speed. And despite my love for the M113-powered SLK55, you can't get it in a manual, which puts this one in a tier higher to me in terms of driver's cars. And speaking of being a driver's car, the SLK handles like a true sports car. It's flat and level through every corner, oversteer is predictable and easy to correct, and speaking of steering, this is one of few Mercs that you get true feedback through the wheel, partly because the AMG handling pack includes the same variable assist steering you get in the SLK55. It's not all good though. While it's an engaging car to drive, it comes with its expected German car gremlins, from minor issues like Mercedes' cup holder afterthought to major reliability concerns. The M272 was a brand new engine for this model year and has plenty of documented cases of jumping timing, ultimately grenading without much warning. It's also no secret the immensely over-engineered power retractable hardtop will fail. Thankfully this one works, but the question will always be for how long. And that brings me to the issues with this particular example. We knew it'd be a risk, and while we're overall happy with it, it's pretty far from perfect. This one came complete with a power steering and washer fluid leak, worn lower control arm bushings, front struts that are at the end of their lives, a slightly leaky roof, bends in 3 out of the 4 wheels, and it appears to have been previously owned by a Sasquatch. Every plastic clip from the engine cover to the interior trim pieces is broken, assuming from trying to put in this aftermarket radio. All that said, we added this one to the collection to be a fun weekend, top-down cruiser with the full expectation that it'd need some work. Its cabin is spacious for a 2-seater, the seats are firm but supportive, and there's enough cargo space for a weekend getaway. Although there are a couple interior complaints for me in terms of the cup holder placement, and even worse, the hazard light switch that you're sure to hit every time you shift into third. Moving to the exterior, it's a good-looking car. You may even think it looks vaguely familiar, and that's intentional. This was produced at the same time as the SLR McLaren, and the styling shows. In just the short time we've owned it, it's attracted a lot of attention, way more than we expected, and that's proving to me its design is aging with grace. Finally, let's talk price. There are plenty of R171 SLKs out there for sale, but very few optioned with a manual transmission. In fact, this was one of 3 in the entire United States that we could find. This one was priced at $10,500, but all 3 examples we looked at had similar mileage and were priced between $10,000 and $12,000. We were happy to come out on the lower end of that, but of course had some expected issues. All that said, it's not too shabby for a fun, engaging, and comfortable sports car that's pretty good on the eyes.